The biting wind whipped across Anya's face as she huddled deeper into the threadbare shawl. Europe was a shattered landscape, explosions a constant echo in her memory. Anya wasn't a soldier. She was just a girl, barely 16, with a head full of numbers and a heart aching for peace. But peace was a distant dream, swallowed by the nightmare of war. Her family, once vibrant and full of laughter, was now scattered like leaves in a storm. Only she remained, entrusted with the family's precious violin and a desperate hope for a future. Anya clutched the worn leather case tighter. Inside wasn't just an instrument, it was her grandfather's legacy, a voice that could sing even when words failed. He had taught her to play, filling their small apartment with melodies that soared above the city's grim reality. Now, the music was a lifeline, a reminder of what she had lost and what she was fighting to keep alive. Fear was a constant companion. Every shadow seemed to hold a threat, every stranger's face a potential enemy. She missed her mother's warm embrace, her father's reassuring smile. She closed her eyes, picturing their faces, whispering promises to survive, to honor their memory. America. The word echoed in her mind, a beacon of hope in the darkness. A land of opportunity, they said. A place where even a refugee could find a home. But the journey was long, and the path ahead was fraught with peril. Anya knew she had to be brave, for herself, for her family, and for the music that still lived within her. The promise of America shimmered like a mirage in the distance, but the path to reach it was a treacherous one. Anya found herself crammed onto a rickety fishing boat, the salty spray stinging her eyes. The other passengers were a mosaic of desperation, mothers clutching infants, elderly men with haunted eyes, young men seeking escape from conscription. The air was thick with the stench of fear and seawater. Days blurred into nights under the relentless sun. Food was scarce, water even more so. Anya shared her meager rations with a crying child, earning a grateful smile from the mother. The violin case became her pillow, her confidant. At night, when the sea was calm, she would gently open the case and run her fingers over the strings, imagining the music she would play in her new home. One terrifying night, a storm descended upon them, tossing the small boat like a toy. Waves crashed over the deck, threatening to swallow them whole. Anya clung to a railing, her knuckles white. She closed her eyes, praying for strength, for survival. When the storm finally subsided, leaving behind a trail of wreckage and exhaustion, she knew they had faced death and lived to tell the tale. The journey was far from over, but Anya's determination burned brighter than ever. She would reach America, no matter the cost. She had to. The sight of the Statue of Liberty, rising majestically from the harbor, brought tears to Anya's eyes. After weeks of uncertainty and peril, she had finally arrived. But her relief was short-lived. The immigration officers at Ellis Island were stern and unyielding. Anya, unable to speak English, struggled to answer their questions. Her documents, hastily prepared and incomplete, raised suspicion. She was separated from the other refugees and led to a small, sterile room. A translator, her face devoid of emotion, informed Anya that she was to be deported. America, the land of dreams, was slamming its door in her face. Anya's world began to crumble. The hope that had sustained her through the journey flickered and threatened to die. Despair washed over her as she sat alone, clutching her violin case. The music inside seemed to mock her, a reminder of the future she was about to lose. She closed her eyes, picturing her family, and a fresh wave of grief overwhelmed her. Was this how her journey ended? Not with opportunity and hope, but with rejection and despair? The thought was unbearable. A single tear traced a path down her cheek, landing on the worn leather of her beloved violin case. She had come so far, risked so much. Surely, there had to be a way. Hope, however, wasn't entirely extinguished. In the bustling heart of New York City, a fiery young lawyer named Sarah Jacobs dedicated her life to helping those who had nowhere else to turn. Sarah worked tirelessly at a legal aid society, fighting for the rights of immigrants and refugees. She believed in the promise of America, a promise she felt was being broken far too often. One evening, While sifting through a stack of deportation cases, Sarah stumbled upon Anya's file. The stark details, a young girl, fleeing war, possessing a unique talent, caught her attention. Something about Anya's story resonated with Sarah, a deep sense of injustice. She couldn't shake the feeling that this girl deserved a chance. Sarah dug deeper, discovering a letter from Anya's former music teacher in Europe, praising her extraordinary musical abilities. The letter spoke of Anya's potential to bring beauty and joy to the world through her violin. Sarah knew she had to act. She visited Anya at the detention center, finding her withdrawn and defeated. But when Sarah mentioned the music, a spark flickered in Anya's eyes. Sarah promised Anya she would do everything in her power to help her stay in America. It was a long shot, but Sarah Jacobs never backed down from a fight. And Anya's story was one worth fighting for. Sarah knew that appealing to the immigration authorities through normal channels would likely be futile. The system was overwhelmed, and Anya's case, while heartbreaking, was just one of many. She needed to find a way to bypass the bureaucracy, to reach someone who could see Anya not as a statistic, but as a human being. An idea, audacious and risky, began to form in Sarah's mind. She knew a journalist, a seasoned reporter named David Miller, who had connections in Washington, D.C. David was known for his investigative pieces and his willingness to champion the underdog. Sarah contacted David, sharing Anya's story and the letter from her music teacher. David was immediately captivated. He saw the potential for a powerful story, one that could shed light on the plight of refugees and the importance of compassion. Together, Sarah and David crafted a compelling narrative, highlighting Anya's talent, her resilience, and the injustice of her impending deportation. David used his contacts to get the story in front of influential figures, including members of Congress and aides to President John F. Kennedy. They knew it was a long shot, a desperate gamble, but they believed that Anya's story deserved to be heard at the highest level. The fate of a young refugee now rested on the shoulders of a journalist, and the hope that someone in power would listen. The article David wrote, "The Violinist of Ellis Island," landed on President Kennedy's desk amidst a pile of urgent matters. JFK, a man known for his deep appreciation of the arts and his commitment to humanitarian causes, paused. He read the article with growing interest, captivated by Anya's story of survival and her extraordinary musical talent. The accompanying letter from her teacher further solidified his attention. Kennedy saw in Anya a reflection of the American dream, the idea that anyone, regardless of their background, could achieve greatness in the United States. He was deeply troubled by the thought of deporting such a promising young woman, especially given the circumstances she had fled. He summoned his advisors, asking for a review of Anya's case. The advisors, initially hesitant to intervene in a routine immigration matter, were swayed by Kennedy's conviction and the compelling nature of Anya's story. They recognized the potential for positive publicity, but more importantly, they understood the moral imperative to help someone in need. Kennedy emphasized the importance of compassion and opportunity, values he believed were at the heart of the American identity. He instructed his team to explore all possible avenues to grant Anya asylum, ensuring that her talent would not be lost to the world. The wheels of change, set in motion by a lawyer, a journalist, and a violin, began to turn within the White House. Days later, Sarah received a phone call that made her heart leap. It was David, his voice filled with excitement. "Anya's been granted asylum," he exclaimed. "Kennedy himself intervened. She's free to stay." Sarah rushed to the detention center, her steps light with joy. When she told Anya the news, the young girl's face transformed. The despair that had clouded her eyes vanished, replaced by a radiant smile. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but this time, they were tears of joy. She hugged Sarah tightly, whispering words of gratitude in her native language. Anya was finally safe. The threat of deportation had been lifted, replaced by the promise of a new beginning. As she walked out of the detention center, clutching her violin case, the sun seemed to shine brighter. The city that had once seemed so cold and indifferent now felt welcoming and full of possibilities. The American dream, once a distant fantasy, was now within her reach. She looked up at the sky, whispering a silent thank you to President Kennedy and to all those who had believed in her. The music within her, silenced by fear, began to swell again, ready to fill the world with its melody. Anya's first few months in America were a whirlwind of new experiences and challenges. Sarah helped her find a small, affordable apartment in a vibrant neighborhood filled with other immigrants. The sounds of different languages and the aroma of exotic spices filled the air, creating a sense of community and belonging. Learning English was Anya's top priority. She enrolled in a language class and spent hours practicing, determined to master the new language. The other students, refugees and immigrants from all corners of the globe, shared her struggles and her hopes. They formed a close-knit group, supporting each other through the challenges of adapting to a new culture. Finding work was also difficult. Anya took on odd jobs, cleaning houses and working in a local bakery, earning just enough to make ends meet. The work was hard, but she never complained. She was grateful for the opportunity to earn a living and build a new life. Despite the challenges, Anya never lost sight of her dream of playing the violin. She joined a local orchestra, finding solace and joy in the music. The other musicians welcomed her with open arms, recognizing her talent and her passion. Slowly but surely, Anya began to rebuild her life, one note at a time. The journey was far from over, but she was no longer alone. She had found a new home, a new community, and a renewed sense of purpose. Years passed, and Anya's talent blossomed. She excelled in the local orchestra, quickly becoming a star. Her passion and skill were undeniable, captivating audiences with her soulful performances. Word of her exceptional talent spread, and soon she was invited to audition for a prestigious music conservatory in New York City. The audition was nerve-wracking. Anya played her heart out, pouring all her emotions into the music. When she finished, the judges were silent, their faces unreadable. Anya feared she had failed. But then, one of the judges, a renowned violinist himself, smiled warmly. "You have a gift, Anya," he said. "A rare and beautiful gift. We would be honored to have you study here." Anya was accepted into the conservatory on a full scholarship. It was a dream come true. She immersed herself in her studies, honing her skills and pushing her boundaries. She practiced tirelessly, driven by a burning desire to make the most of this incredible opportunity. She knew that she owed it to President Kennedy, to Sarah, to David, and to her family to succeed. The little refugee girl, once on the brink of deportation, was now on the path to becoming a world-class violinist. Her music was her voice, her story, her legacy. Anya quickly distinguished herself at the conservatory. She won several prestigious awards, including the coveted Rising Star Award for Young Musicians. Her performances were electrifying, drawing rave reviews from critics and audiences alike. One critic wrote, "Anya's playing is not just technically brilliant, it's infused with a depth of emotion that touches the soul." She performed as a soloist with renowned orchestras around the world, captivating audiences with her virtuosity and her moving interpretations of classical masterpieces. Her signature piece became a soaring rendition of Bach's Chaconne, a piece that resonated deeply with her own journey from darkness to light. Beyond her solo performances, Anya also dedicated her time to teaching and mentoring young musicians. She believed in giving back to the community and inspiring the next generation of artists. She often shared her story with her students, reminding them that anything is possible with hard work, dedication, and a little bit of hope. Anya's success was not just a personal triumph, it was a testament to the power of the American dream and the importance of welcoming refugees and immigrants. She had become a vital member of American society, enriching the cultural landscape with her extraordinary talent and her unwavering spirit. Anya's contributions extended far beyond the concert hall. Inspired by her own experience, she became a passionate advocate for refugees and immigrants. She established a foundation to provide scholarships and support services to young, talented individuals seeking to build new lives in America. She traveled the country, sharing her story and speaking out against injustice and discrimination. Her words resonated with audiences, reminding them of the importance of compassion, empathy, and opportunity. She became a powerful voice for the voiceless, a symbol of hope for those who had lost everything. Anya also collaborated with schools and community organizations, offering free music lessons and workshops to underprivileged children. She believed that music had the power to heal and to transform lives, and she wanted to share that gift with as many people as possible. Her dedication and her unwavering commitment to making a difference earned her widespread recognition and respect. She received numerous awards and accolades, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor. Anya, the little refugee girl who had once faced deportation, had become a true American success story, a beacon of hope and inspiration for generations to come. Her journey proved that with compassion and opportunity, anything is possible. Decades later, Anya stood on a stage, accepting a Lifetime Achievement Award for her contributions to music and humanitarian work. The auditorium was filled with people from all walks of life, all touched by her music and her unwavering commitment to helping others. As she looked out at the crowd, her eyes fell upon Sarah Jacobs, now an elderly woman, but still radiating the same fiery spirit that Anya remembered from their first meeting. Sarah smiled, her eyes sparkling with pride. Anya knew that none of this would have been possible without Sarah's unwavering belief in her. Anya also saw young faces, the faces of refugees and immigrants whose lives had been transformed by her foundation. They were the future, and she was determined to continue supporting them in their pursuit of their dreams. In her acceptance speech, Anya spoke of her journey, of the challenges she had faced, and of the kindness and compassion she had received. She spoke of President Kennedy and his belief in the American dream, and she reminded everyone that America is a nation built by immigrants, a nation that thrives on diversity and opportunity. She concluded her speech with a message of hope, urging everyone to embrace compassion, to stand up for justice, and to never give up on their dreams. Her words echoed through the auditorium, inspiring all those who were present to make a difference in the world. The violinist of Ellis Island had come full circle, using her music and her story to create a better world for all. Later that evening, after the ceremony, Anya sat alone in her study, surrounded by photographs and mementos from her extraordinary life. She picked up a framed picture of President Kennedy, taken shortly after he granted her asylum. His face radiated kindness and hope. Anya closed her eyes, remembering the fear and desperation she had felt upon arriving at Ellis Island. She wondered what her life would have been like if Kennedy hadn't intervened. Would she have returned to war-torn Europe, her dreams shattered? Would her music have been silenced forever? She knew that Kennedy's decision had not only saved her life but had also given her the opportunity to fulfill her potential and to make a difference in the world. She felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for his compassion and his unwavering belief in the American dream. Anya realized that her story was a testament to the power of human kindness and the importance of providing opportunities to those in need. She hoped that her life would inspire others to embrace compassion, to stand up for justice, and to create a world where everyone has the chance to pursue their dreams. The music continued to play within her, a constant reminder of the journey she had taken and the legacy she hoped to leave behind. The violinist of Ellis Island had found her voice, and she would continue to use it to inspire hope and to make the world a better place, one note at a time. The scene shifts back to the auditorium, now bathed in a warm, golden light. Anya stands at center stage, her Presidential Medal of Freedom gleaming against her elegant gown. The applause is deafening, a thunderous ovation that seems to shake the very foundations of the building. The camera pans across the audience, showing faces filled with admiration and gratitude. We see Sarah, beaming with pride. We see David, his eyes twinkling with satisfaction. We see young refugees, their faces alight with hope, dreaming of a future as bright as Anya's. As the applause begins to subside, Anya raises her violin, signaling for silence. The auditorium falls quiet, every eye fixed on her. She closes her eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath, and then she begins to play. The music that pours from her violin is unlike anything the audience has ever heard. It is a symphony of emotions: joy, sorrow, hope, resilience. It is the story of a refugee, a survivor, a dreamer. It is the story of America, a land of opportunity and compassion. The music swells, filling the auditorium with its beauty and its power. Tears stream down faces, hearts swell with emotion. In that moment, everyone understands the true meaning of the American dream. It is not just about individual success. It is about using one's gifts to make the world a better place. And Anya, the violinist of Ellis Island, has done just that. Her music is a gift, a legacy, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. The final notes of Anya's violin fade into silence, leaving the audience breathless. The camera slowly zooms out, showing the entire auditorium, a sea of faces touched by her music and her story. A voiceover begins, reflecting on the legacy of President John F. Kennedy and his humanitarian actions. The voice reminds us that Kennedy's decision to grant Anya asylum was not just a singular act of kindness, but a reflection of his deep belief in the American dream and his commitment to welcoming those seeking refuge from oppression. Anya's story serves as a powerful example of the positive impact that refugees and immigrants can have on American society. She is a reminder that welcoming newcomers with compassion and providing them with opportunities to succeed not only enriches our culture but also strengthens our nation. The voiceover concludes with a call to action, urging us to remember Anya's story and to continue to uphold the values of compassion, empathy, and opportunity. It reminds us that the American dream is not just a promise, but a responsibility to create a society where everyone has the chance to reach their full potential, regardless of their background or their circumstances. The screen fades to black, leaving the audience with a lingering sense of hope and a renewed commitment to building a better world. The legacy of Anya, the violinist of Ellis Island, will continue to inspire generations to come.